establish that line to separate. We'll start there. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, just to kind of like boil it down so that everybody understands, he's saying that whenever I date somebody, from the female's perspective, I want this particular man to share the same qualities and characteristics that my pastor does.
Yeah.
Somebody's shaking their head, no hard.
Man.
That's basically what you're saying, though, right? And so, so I'll push back on that just a little bit.
Okay.
I'll push back on that just a little bit because I understand what you're saying in terms of seeing your pastor, and then desiring your pastor, and then wanting to have somebody in your life who was just like your pastor. Yeah. And being a pastor myself, right? So I don't think there's there shouldn't be an issue with wanting certain qualities to be in the person that you're potentially dating.
Yeah.
There are certain things that should be present there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That you see in your pastor that you ought to see in somebody else. I'll even go as far as to say it like this. When we are dating somebody, there ought to be certain qualities, certain characteristics that we see, that we are drawn to, that we saw in our parents, right?
Yeah.
Some of the qualities that I saw in my mom, and I know I'm kind of like broadening this
Hold up. You can't just smooth past that.
No. I'm about to explain it real quick. That I see in my dad. Okay, so as a female, then I see qualities in my dad that I would like to see in my mom, that I would like to see in a potential mate. Same thing holds true for the male perspective, right? If I see qualities in my mom, or if I see qualities in my dad as a female, then these are the things that I kind of look for in potential others. And so sometimes by also having the same comparison or the same template when it comes to your pastor, when you're going out to date, you want to see certain qualities that are comparable or similar to what the pastor has. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm kind of saying that there are some things that you should look for that they both share.
Yeah.
I think, I got a question here.
Oh, good. I was saying something really quick.
Go ahead.
Really quick.
Go.
So my only pushback to that is this.
Come on.
It's like with anything we do in life, we go out looking for a house, looking for cars.
Yeah.
We want to see the whole picture before we decide. So what you said is it shouldn't be anything wrong with following after that model, right? Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
If the wife was able to come in and tell us the home side. Because see, what we get attached to is the ministry side. We get, oh my God, they so preach it, and look how they lead. And we're not talking about Pastor John in this, but we're talking about in general. So look, when Pastor John goes home, I'm just using an example.
Right.
Let's just say when his wife was present, she was like, oh, let me tell you, he don't wash this, he don't clean up, he don't cook, he don't do nothing. So what I'm saying is, that gives people a holistic opinion to say,
okay,
hearing and knowing all of that, now do I make the same decision?
Because basically on Sundays, you only get a snapshot of this particular person. So you only see them on Sundays for maybe 2 hours.
You see them in Superman,
right?
Not Clark
It's
Kent.
the surface, right?
Correct.
It's the surface. It's the Cosby effect.
Correct.
Okay.
You see what
you see Claire Huxtable. You
see what they want to show you.
Right.
And so I think that great topic. We're not going to pause, but we're going to keep the energy
going.
We got a question from the audience. Go ahead, Shauna.
I've been a single woman for probably 10 plus years.
Okay.
And I don't mind being a single woman. I've been a married woman just as well. I've been married twice.
Okay.
It didn't work. The first one, my husband passed away. My second one was my husband he wasn't the right man for me, and I knew it after a while.
Right.
Now being a woman of God and changing my life, I yearn for a different type of man. I don't want that man to be like my pastor.
Okay.
I want that man to love God as much as I love God.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want that, he got to be this type of way, this type of way. I'm going to take you as you are, and we're going to grow together.
Right.
So I don't want no man. I don't want my pastor. No man like my pastor.
Right.
Pastor strict.
He said, "No, thank you."
Put his foot down, he put his foot down. I don't need. I need somebody a little bit more loving. First lady.
Oh God.
I just want a man that loves God as much as I love him.
Yeah, that's all. Right. That's all.
No, and then that kind of does go to part of what I was saying to an extent that you do want
Go
the
ahead.
person that
Let's
you're
clap
pursuing
it
after.
up.
That we do want the person that we're pursuing to be their own person, to be something that we actually desire. And I don't know if I want to take this particular path because I actually deal with this in the book a little bit, and it has to do with the fact that the people that we go after often share qualities with our parents. This is the reason why we go after them. Let me put it to you like this. The basis of all of our relationships is based on our upbringing in the home, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. That is a template that is there. You know what I'm saying? And in order for you to be able to understand why you are drawn to what you're drawn to, you have to go back to the beginning and understand what your upbringing was like, right? And so in understanding that, this helps you to become informed as to the reason why you go after what you go after. And so
Get this book.
and so
Can I get a hand clap? Y'all better get this book.
And so you have to, when you understand how you were brought up, you understand why you go after what you go after. And it helps you to understand the reason why you do the things that you don't understand why you do them. It's all based in your childhood. And if you don't understand your childhood in terms of how you were raised and the dynamic between you and your parents between them, then you don't ever understand why you go after what you go after. And I think, again, it plays into the whole idea of wanting that, I guess, ideal person that we kind of see our pastors as. The person that, again, we only see them for a certain period of time on once a week. And so that becomes the romanticized image of what we go after. Not realizing, like you said, when he clips his toes, he's in the kitchen. he don't know how to do his laundry. You know what I'm saying?
And the Bible says that we are to deal with our mates according to knowledge.
Yes.
So what I don't know about you, right? I have no preference, no basis to grow from or to deal with.
Yeah.
And I love what you said earlier, because you said that the qualities, we get from our family, but we get the curses from our family as well.
That's true.
When the sister was asking her question, the first thing came to my mind, not according to her, but just I thought about it, is sometimes when we're single in the church, we have to ask ourselves, am I making room to not be single? Because a lot of times we show up to the church single, but we're so in our daily day-to-day lives and what we do. I got to show up for this. So I have a meeting with the pastor. I got this and that. I have all these things.
Right.
But nowhere in there is room to entertain not being single.
Can we get hand claps on that?
We walk around. And so, because really, it's a psychological thing. And so any man looking, he wants you to be about your business and independent and all those things.
Right.
But he's still looking for room.
Okay.
It's like when you ride by him and you see the hotels, or you traveling through the country, and like I'm sleeping, then you looking, no vacancy. It's a hotel there, but the sign doesn't say open. So you're looking to say, is this person open for me to entertain them?
Right. And I guess to your point, you come into the church and you see families.
Right.
Most of the time, when you come into most ministries, you see families. You don't necessarily see
single people,
or even single people being celebrated for being single. And then, again, I think sometimes when it comes to the society that we live in terms of what they celebrate, unfortunately, the church has a way of adopting the values of the world in terms of celebrating those versus actually celebrating what the church holds true to be valuable. You know what I'm saying?
So that single position that you're calling out is because a lot of the single people are in transition or want to be in transition. So labeling them as single people, that's their current status. But are they in the church so that they don't become single people?
Well, I mean, in some cases, because some people, not everybody, honestly, not everybody comes to, this is part we don't talk about. Everybody that's single in church is not single outside of church. They're in here, the pastor don't see the man. They have people that they date in, this, that, and the other. And so I remember a lady telling me once at work, she was in church as well. And so she was talking about, we were talking about the whole single dynamic.
Yeah.
And she said, she was just like, I mean, I love my pastor and I love my church and this, that, and the other. So I said, so what about the marriage part? She says, oh, I'm dating. I said, who? Just not no church man. And I said, why? She said, because this person has his time for her. And this is what she said. He doesn't press up on me for sex.
Oh,
He doesn't do this thing. And she kept going. And I stopped her and I said, well, you know why? I said, he doesn't have to. I said, he's not bound by the law, or he's not bound by being convicted.
Right.
So he can satisfy his loins and then use you as the project.
Okay.
Because the saved girl is always the project. To the guy that has the problems, she's like, I really appreciate how you read the Bible, talk about God. But his loins aren't on fire because they're already empty. So to her, she's thinking, oh, he doesn't need nothing from me because I can appreciate, he respects me. No, he's just finessing you to get to your mind first.
Okay.
Your body's gonna come after that. So that's the whole point. But that's where we go wrong. A lot of times we always respect the guy outside, not saying that he's not entitled to love,
right?
But he's not bound by what you're bound by. So he's not worrying about that whole intimacy piece. Like that some guys look in church. Here's the other thing we don't talk about. So if we're in here and if we're single, then if somebody's been divorced or they're not a virgin, so to speak, they have those desires. Let's just be honest, they have those desires. Right. And so when they get home, they're like, anyway, so they have those desires. So the point is they have those things happen to them. And so they get home. Yeah, they have those desires and stuff. So at the end of the day, it's a struggle. And so a lot of times, people outside, whether you're the single man or single woman, people outside know you have the struggle. Because when you were talking about earlier about when singles come into the church, I've always looked at it like this. There is it almost gives you the impression that they're like the married couples are the licensed drivers.
Okay.
And the single people are the unlicensed drivers.
Okay.
And that's the way it looks. That's the way it feels. It's like, now we know y'all, we appreciate y'all, but watch us drive, and we're going to try to show y'all how to get your license. But remember, y'all don't have license. So just like in the real world, you know how we treat people who don't have the license. So if you don't have the license, you're the unlicensed driver. Okay. So it's an awkward position to be in. Everybody, you kind of the subliminal third wheel and all those things. It's uncomfortable, but I always say, what we kind of underestimate is the single position can really be an imploding role. Because think about it, many of us people that are single, you have married friends. So here now, if you're too close to the married friend, you're coveting her life, his or her life. Look at how Terrell loves his. Oh my, I mean, you got all that stuff, and you're too close. You're too close for the access to support the position you're in. Okay. You're single, so you're looking, but you really need to sharpen your iron with other single people.
Okay.
But
I was waiting for her.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, Lord.
I done stay quiet as long as I could. Okay?
All right.
Me as a single woman.
Okay.
All right, been single for years.
Sure.
All right. I think all situations are different.
Sure.
First off, okay. Yeah. So just because a person is single don't mean that they don't have the room open for marriage.
For sure.
Some people stay busy, so they don't even think about those things. So they can keep their life focused. But the thing is, when the Lord send the man, they'll make the room for him. So they may keep themselves busy now, so their mind frame don't go on there. All single women don't have all married friends either.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are single.
Yeah.
We don't talk about sex, okay? Because we know that's an issue for some people. So when you know that's an issue for them, you don't bring it up. Right. You see what I'm saying? Sure. So we're helping each other, all right? But we stay busy so we can make sure we're not going in a direction we don't need to go.
The only thing, and I love you, sis.
Here we go.
What he said is make room.
Yeah.
But no,
busy,
no,
there is no room.
no,
Let me
no,
finish,
that's
let me
no.
finish.
Oh no, that's
And the
not
other
true.
piece of it,
That's not
the other
true.
piece of it,
Here we
sis,
go. Here we go.
is that
Okay,
the
let's go.
Bible
Let's go.
says
Yeah.
that the virgins had to get their oil ready to receive the groomsmen. And so if the oil wasn't ready, what happened? They got left out.
Don't
And,
go
and
there
so
with
you
that.
have to be
Absolutely
ready
not.
before
No.
the man comes.
The thing is, see, you're married now. You're not single.
Right.
I'm in the single position.
I have my oil ready.
Okay. All right. I have what I need to have ready when the Lord send who needs to come get me. Okay, that's what I'm waiting for. So in the meantime, I'm not sitting here, ooh, look who's coming through the church doors. I'm not doing none of that. Okay, I'm staying completely 100% busy doing the things I need to do. Okay, keep myself focused. Once after, hold on, I'm gonna get back to you. And then one, but I'm
You know
saying,
what?
all I'm saying is all situations are different. Just because a person is keeping themselves busy don't mean that they don't have their self open for marriage. I am open for marriage. I want to be married again. Okay. Yes, my marriage has failed, but I want to be married again. So when that time happens, I know for a fact the doorway will open,
Right.
and I'll make myself available because relationships takes time,
Right.
time to build.
Yeah.
Both parties have to be invested for that to happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when the Lord says yes, I'm invested. Let's see where we going.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. Let's go.
We ain't wrap it up, ladies.
We done got,
You better support. You better
we
support,
done got
man.
started. All right. Okay. Now here's the other question. A lot of times we say to ourselves, "I'm busy," right? We say I'm busy. Let's look at it from God's position. He's listening down and he's saying, "Oh, brother, Rail is busy working for the Lord. Sister Vi is busy working for the Lord." But if I send someone, are they going to trade that busy for distraction? And still, because we'll run for the. I've seen it a million times where you running hard for the Lord. Here comes the man or here comes the woman, and I missed rehearsal today. Pastor, I play the keyboard on Sunday. I mean, next week because you distracted, and now we are prioritizing the desire over the call. And I'm only bringing that up is because we use Christianity like a badge. It's a shield. When really there is no such thing as us saying, I'm gonna be ready when he or she is sent. You're supposed to be ready, period. Because at any given time, I just don't believe God has us on a conveyor belt. And around about 2027, I'll go ahead and bring John into your life. It's like he wants us to be fruitful and prosper in ministry. So we can only do that timely. But if we tell ourselves subliminally that, hey, I'm going to wait and until this and this, you're going to be waiting forever. Because I can tell you, this culture that we live in today is not the committing culture. No.
Yeah, microphone.
I can hear you. Okay. Wait,
So
let me hear you.
you don't believe that God can let somebody know that's the one? You don't think God can tell you that?
Of course, but who's the one he's telling though?
Why couldn't he tell both?
No. Listen, I feel this is another subject. I think we trade off on leadership. I'm just being honest. So we always say you the head. So if I'm the head, I'm here. So I'm choosing my spouse. She should. I'm not saying because I come to you and say God sent me to you that you're going to say, okay, I'm following you. You're supposed to try the spirit. But I think today we are switching it. And it's like, I see you, you'll be a good leader of my house. If you come to any man and tell him that, he's going to run all over you. I can assure you that. Oh, okay. I'm just telling you. Okay. All right.
And that is the problem today because you got a whole bunch of women going out looking for their man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. And that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not God's design.
Yeah.
That's why marriages fail or relationships fail. Because the women are the ones doing it wrong.
Well, if the women ain't supposed to look for their man, then how come my girl Ruth and Dee was in the field getting, doing what
So let me. I know where you're going.
No.
I know where you're going, and I hear both of y'all.
She
So
was
here's the thing, though, right?
prepared.
So, and I want to be really organic with this. I want to say, and I want to make it as plain as possible. So when you're in that process of trying to find a potential mate, the idea should be is that as a woman is expecting to be found,
Yeah.
okay, the man is actually doing the work
Seeking.
to find.
Fine. Correct.
Okay. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the woman is just sitting still all day long in one spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is it is a mutual thing that happens
Yeah.
between seeking and finding,
Correct.
right? That I'm in the right place to seek, and I'm also in the right place
To find.
to be found.
Correct.
What I hear
But I would also
Oh.
flip it and say, as I am looking, I'm also being looked at.
Of course.
I'm also being sized up and considered
Of course.
to be
Yeah.
the potential mate.
Of course.
It's not until you actually get into the actual process of the relationship that you begin to realize this is the one for me.
I hear Sister Valerie saying, I'm waiting in faith. And faith is a word of action. It's a process of action. I'm not waiting dormant. When it comes, I'm prepared. But the only thing I was like taken aback by was like, are we so rigid in our busyness that the room that we're saying we're not making physically, emotionally, and mentally, we haven't made the room because we have been overly focused on single tendencies as well as our work.
Well, hopefully you've picked up the cues. And I think sometimes we have a tendency to ignore certain things that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah.
The hope is that you are sensitive enough to pick up on the cues to know, oh, he helped me kind of long. That was a nice little handhold right there. The sparkle in the eye. And I'm not necessarily talking about love at first sight, but I'm talking about that thing called chemistry, right?
Yeah.
That you sense and feel and can detect from a human person's perspective to say, this could possibly be something. But if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. You will totally miss it. This is the thing that Boaz caught with Ruth, right? It was who this right here? Is she in the field? I see her being industrious and she's not sitting around waiting for somebody to do something for her. She's actually actively doing something. So he caught the cue.
But she was also coached. And
Absolutely.
mentored.
Absolutely.
So the
Absolutely.
older women
Yeah.
were preparing the younger women, right,
Yeah.
to be someone that could be found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think it's also important to remember this one thing. It's imperative in your singleness that you are single. Make sure that you remain single in the purposeful mindset and not single in anger. Many of us aren't honest with our single. We should have those talks. God, I don't like being single. I'm tired. I'm this kind of person. But a lot of us, I'm single and waiting on the Lord, and we really are angry. We angry waiting on the Lord. We resentful of the Lord because I've been single too long.
Right.
Why am I cutting my own grass? Why am I doing these things? So we're not honest, but we have to be honest. That's the thing I was talking to you about the other day. I said, I think in the confines of ministry, we forget that just like in the hospital, when the emergency truck, what is it called? The ambulance comes in, you see people coming in on the gurney.
Yeah.
You see blood cut. You see all of these things.
Yeah.
In here, which is supposed to be the hospital, we want to come in here swaddled in blankets and clothes and layered up.
Okay.
We're maimed, but we don't want you to know it. So what we do is we come in here and we pretend to be well and unprepared. We're well, but we're unprepared and we're unhealed. Okay. And so even a lot of us that have been divorced, single, had children out of wedlock, all of those things that are considered, toxic things, a taboo. Yeah. We come in here and we overlook them under the banner of the Lord. Okay. But we're not honest with our hearts about where we really are. And that's why I say, let's be honest with to me, that's the most attractive quality of anybody. Okay. If you come to me for real and honest, and I know how to approach you. But if you come to me, I'm fine, I don't need nothing. I don't know how to move in that because you already locked all your doors.
Right.
So you got to be able to be open and humble and transparent enough, not to the point where you're detrimenting yourself, but you're,
Right.
with reason.
Right.
And first be honest to God. Your leader should even know your heart.
Okay.
Your leader should know where you are without hiding from him, because he can't really impart in you if you're blocking him. So you got to be open and then let things go like that.
Love that, Charles. As girls, mostly are introduced to caretaking through dolls and things of that nature that they're given as children. They're being prepared to be a mother. They're being prepared to be a nurturer, provider. I think a lot of times when I was single, it's how you perceive yourself that dictates the attraction or those that you're attracting.
Yeah.
Because if you live single, I've heard the term married living single, and I've also heard the term of living to be single.
Wow.
And what does that mean? That means if I see myself as a wife, my mindset is to become a wife, as opposed to living as seeing myself as single, and it becomes that stagnant independence that doesn't allow myself, that allows me to be too rigid, so that even if I am attractive, when they meet me and they find out my first impression, I'm no longer an attraction.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to? All right. That's good. So, all right. So, let's get to this point so we can transition to the married side. So,
No.
you don't want to.
No. Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So this will be a question, and I'm only asking this question to Pastor John. So
get Pastor John the mic.
no, I'm not. No, yeah, you can take the mic if you want. I mean, it's just it's not. No, really, what it is in the ministry.
Yeah.
Two people are fortunate to find one another.
Okay.
And I'm just curious of this because, like, in the day and time that I came up, it was mostly a thing of if the people thought that y'all two can potentially get together in friction, and y'all come on, I know y'all met 2 weeks ago, but y'all better get married. Back in those days, it was married to protect your flesh.
Right.
And so a lot of people would get married to satisfy the church quota, and then when they get divorced, you don't see the other spouse no more. The one person stay in church, the other person is gone, because they don't want to come back and face the embarrassment of their decision.
Okay.
So the point I'm saying is, in an ideal world, Pastor John, would you feel that two people that came together and they found that they really are liking each other under your ministry, do you feel that it's best for them to, like at work, you know how they tell you at work, if you're dating at work, you
disclose.
You should disclose it.
And
so
talk
is
about
that a thing that they should disclose at the onset, or a thing that they should disclose when they about to get, like if they come in and someone's want to get engaged, and they want to come and say, we want to get married, when would you feel like you need to be put into it?
I think at the point that they're discussing marriage and want to consider getting engaged, then sure, if you want to bring me into the conversation then so we can begin to talk about premarital counseling and what all that looks like, sure. But, if you guys just went out for coffee, you're going to go out for coffee with a lot of people. Why?
You know what? But you know why I asked that? Because this day, there ain't no more coffee. It is DM.
Wow.
Let's go eat.
Wow.
Where you live at.
Okay.
That's where we at. We don't go the normal routes that we used to go. Back in the day, that was exactly right. You'd be like, oh, can I take you out to eat? And somebody knew about it. I'd be like, I'm taking her out to eat. I might tell him. And then we go there, eat, and then it progresses. Now everything is so quick and fleshly. It's not a lot of intention anymore. It's action and experience. So that's why I just wonder in this age, would it be wise? Because I feel like if you tell your leader, hey, I'm looking at Sister Sherelle and she seems to like me, at least his lights are on now and he's not blindsided. He's
aware of the fact
he's aware because later, go ahead.
I'm only going to speak about it from a pastoral standpoint.
Okay.
Because there are going to be a lot of women in the church that make your lights go on.
Okay. That's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Because
the church is probably 70% women.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
And a big swath of that is single women. And so if you're a single guy in the church, you're catnip. And so you're going to be looking around at every woman that comes by. And if you're going to tell your pastor every time you look at somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And at a point, the pastor gonna be like, "Look, man, you got a problem," and so
Yeah.
I think that it's more if you're gonna involve your pastor.
Yeah.
I think that the relationship should have progressed to a real point.
Right. Got it. Okay.
You know, not at the inception of it. And
Okay.
then once that's happened, then you can begin to have some conversations about next steps, once you guys are on the same page. I will say this as well, if you'll allow me.
Okay.
Most relationships fail in the selection phase.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
Most relationships fail when you pick. Because oftentimes when we pick, we're not picking, as Christians, we're not picking with biblical principles in mind.
Yeah.
I think you alluded to this earlier. We're picking based on lips, hips, and fingertips.
That's it. That's
or
it.
women are picking based on 666, six
Yeah.
figures, six pack,
That's
and
it.
6 feet tall.
Wow.
Well, 2 out of 3.
And,
Crazy. Yeah.
and because we're picking based on these
Yeah.
external forces,
Yeah.
it's no wonder that the marriage doesn't work.
Yeah.
However, for example, of the women in the church now, men and women in the church now that are married, most of the marriages in the church now, I think the number is like 65% of them, began with a Christian marrying a non-Christian.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
the Bible already told us don't do that.
Right.
It said, what fellowship hath light with darkness.
Yeah.
So we selected based on external principles, and because we selected based on those principles, we got those kind of results.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
And so the pastor could help you in that way in the early stages of it, or
Sure.
the church could help you in that way in the early stages of it. When you say, "Hey, I'm interested in such and such girl or such and such guy," well, the first question could be, "Oh, are they saved?"
Yeah.
Well, they go
They
to
grew
church.
up. They grew up in a household
They
with a church.
say they love God.
Yeah, they love God. They love God. Yeah.
They confess Christ at an early age,
Yeah.
and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they could probably help you in that way, but that's also something that's supposed to take place at home
Yeah.
Yeah.
before it ever reaches the church.
Yeah.
The parents should have already taught you this too.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Another point to what PJ just said was, if the relationship is there with the pastor, some of this dialogue will happen organically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not about me, waiting to get to a certain point
Sure.
of inflection in my life. If I have a relationship with my pastor, there's certain things we're going to talk about regardless, right?
Yeah.
And so I think building that relationship is just as
Key.
important as waiting to introduce them into a particular point or changing point in your life, right?
I agree.
Yeah. I think it's also important too that in your circle of friends, those that are trusted, those that are you consider to be wise, knowledgeable, that can possibly be a resource of a conversation where I say, hey, I'm thinking about asking such and such out, because then they could at least tell you, no, y'all not a good fit, because they know you before they know the other person, right?
Okay.
So if I know you and I see them, no, you probably don't want to do that. Go around the corner to the other spot. And again, this is based off their knowledge of you as a person, versus it being something that's ambiguous or just doesn't have anything that's tethered to or whatever like that. So I think it's important that we understand that when we're looking at people, and I think I've said this earlier, when we're looking at people, you have to understand that your mind is set up in a way that it's basing your selection on how you were raised.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of like get outside of that, because to a degree, your software is almost hardwired into you based on how daddy treats you and how mama talks to you. And so if you're not aware of that, you'll make the same decision and pick the same person over and over again, not really understanding and realizing, oh, you're the same dude with a different skin. What?
Yeah.
You guys talk about that definitely in your book when you talk about the man's healing journey, right? And then we go to a place where every man must take the lid off and to receive real love.
Yeah.
So just as you said, the woman needs to be prepared to receive, the mate, the potential mate, or suitor mate. The man also needs to be prepared to be healed and to know that he can provide the necessary things for a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not always capital or the 666.
Right.
There's the other side of that, right?
Yeah.
How emotional intact are you, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a tendency to put up these walls because we're conditioned that way.
Right.
As from fathers, or if you haven't had a father, you kind of make it up as you go.
Right.
So you get into your book in depthly about the man's psyche and the man's changing and manifestation of becoming that provider and that nurturer to a wife. But how does a man, and we're getting ready to segue to the next section, to our break. But how does a man prepare himself when he hasn't had great mentors? But how does he wants to express himself as a mate or make himself available as a mate, but yet he's in transition in terms of understanding who he is and how he can actually transition from being more rigid to more loving and empathetic.
Yeah. Don't quit.
So one of the things I think that we men need work on is not recognizing that it's okay to say, I didn't have that model.
Right.
But I admire you. I admire pastor, whomever in your circle, because not everybody that you admire has to be spiritual. Because it's some men that have worked on their jobs 40 years. You like, wow, you got to work ethic. You take care of your family. You can admire it. So you talk to people and say things like, you tell them this was my world, and I'm aspiring to be this kind of man. But I'm picking up the pieces as I go along. And I want to ask you a question or two.
Right.
You go around and you do that and learn what you need to learn so that you can be in position. The problem is us men, if we're honest, if that was our hand that we were dealt, that we didn't have a father or something, we internalize the anger, the pain. We're not going to go tell no one.
Right.
Unfortunately, the person who's going to experience it is the woman we marry.
Right.
We're going to treat her all kinds of ways because we were too stubborn to go out and get the help and the outlet so that we can come to the table at least a little prepared. But what happens is men that have had sometimes, I would say, dysfunctional upbringing,
Trauma.
the woman they end up choosing has to deal with it.
Right.
And one way or another, it's either his shortcomings as a man, or he's going to deflect because he's angry. Because he didn't have this.
Right.
So he's going to deflect onto her, and she's going to be like, I love you, okay. But she's going to be like, girl, I'm going to the court. You know what I mean? So the point is, so people, that's real talking. So that's why I say as much as we as men can get healing beforehand.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of angry men in the world.
Yeah.
And if they're angry because they didn't have fathers, or they saw some men. I knew a guy that I worked with that he was always in a bad mood all the time. And I would be like, God, something is like, so when he and I would talk, he talked about what he was a nice looking guy, so he didn't have problem getting women, but he always had his first thing he would do when he would meet a woman is he wanted to establish control. I'm the man. I need her to know this and follow me. And I would be like, well, why is that so important at this stage?
Right.
And what he told me was when he was coming up, he saw his mom dog his dad.
Oh, wow.
She cheated on him, he said. When she left the dad and took him, she saw all these men like a revolving door out of her bedroom.
Right.
So again, that's that first model, that mother.
Yeah.
So when he saw what she did and hurt his dad, he grew up insecure about women. And so the women had to pay for it. You know what I mean?
What I heard you say, and you said a lot. You said a treasure chest full. But what I heard you say is that the path to a mature relationship with a woman is male companionship.
For sure. Okay. Yeah.
And so, and we often talk about that in the church as well as the brotherhood and in the ministry, is we have a great relationship and chemistry with one another because that vulnerability.
Yeah.
And from my personal experience, I am still learning
gleaning
in my marriage. I'm still learning how to apply. And it's mostly through my interaction with my brothers, in terms of that circle. So again, like I said, an awesome path or a component of mature relationship with a woman or being able to give yourself to a woman is through male companionship.
You can't do it. We have to learn that we can't do it alone.
Right.
And as much as we think we're strong and independent, we are strong and smart or whatever, but you need to bounce things off of your brother because he may have been through something as a married man that I'm trying to aspire to. And he may be like, Charles, I'm just going to tell you, brother, I've been down that path, but you may want to consider this. And that may not be something I would have ever heard had I not been humble enough to go to him. So that's what I mean sometimes.
I think part of the issue too is I'm gonna say two things real quick. So Shana can. Shauna. I'm sorry, Shauna. I got her name wrong again.
Get the name right. That's one.
So here's one of the biggest issues that men have today, and it's a very simple issue. Very simple. We don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we are so masculine.
Yeah.
Because we are so strong. Because we are Superman. We figure that we can do everything ourselves. And even if I do get hurt, even if I am bleeding, even if I've suffered severe trauma in my life, I am not asking for help. Why? Because it's a sign of weakness. And I can't allow you to see my weakness because I believe that you might try to exploit it. Here's the flip side of that. The flip side of that is as young boys, we are taught to suppress what we feel.
Yeah.
So even if I am hurt, even if I am bleeding, you'll never know. Why?
Yeah.
Because I hide it.
Yeah.
You'll never see it. You'll never recognize it because I've been taught you don't show that part of yourself because, again, that is perceived as weakness. And what we need to do as men is we need to understand that we can't do everything. We break under the pressure and the stress of the day, trying to pay bills, trying to pay mortgage, trying to keep our family together, looking for employment. All of these different things compounded upon us. And we are literally suffering in silence because we don't know how to ask for help. And it is something that is so basic, yet it seems so difficult for men to do, to be able to overcome the issue of asking for help. Yeah. We need to learn how to ask for help. And I think that's the key to being able to be prepared to be in a relationship.
So being a woman, how do I confront that man that's having that issue that I'm attracted to? How do I confront him and try to get him to trust me so that we can bond, so that we can have a relationship? What is it that I need to do?
Not regurgitate what he tells you. See, a lot of women will go wrong where if a man decides to trust you and he's meeting you and you seem like you're insightful to be like, okay, you probably this kind of man. You'll understand him quickly. So you'll understand him and then you're dialoguing with him, but you want him to impart. The first thing any man that can and is willing to impart is thinking to himself, all right, if I start offloading the issue, will it be something that I feel regurgitated back to me if I get her mad?
No.
Because a lot of times, I'm just saying, and so I think the job, any woman can become, the right woman, let me say this, can become a man's treasure chest.
Right.
If he can trust you.
Right.
If he can trust you, there are women in the world that know all kinds of unseemingly things about a man that the next man or woman don't even know. Right. But he trusts her so much, she knows the good, the bad, and the very ugly. Okay. But it's hard to get there unless you can instill in that man that, look, what you tell me is you and me.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell my mother, my sisters,
right.
Because women will take what they know about their man, tell their girlfriend, the girlfriend know about the bedroom, how much money he lost his job. You shouldn't do all those things. Because once you start doing that, the man he's eroding right before your eyes. He's like, I can't be safe with her at all. Yeah. You know what I mean? That kind of thing like that. Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, we're going to save, Laverne, we're going to save your question for the next segment. We want to go ahead and just take our break at this time. So we're going to go into a break, you all. So it's a 15-minute break. We do have food in the back. So we ask that you go ahead, go back there. There's plates all over. There's all kind of food everywhere. Get what you want. And then come on back up here and y'all get ready for segment number 2. Have you all enjoyed segment number 1?
Yeah.
I know.
People online.
Look, I'm going to have to talk to some of them offline about some of their comments, especially Mr. Charles over here. I don't know what he's doing. See, ain't paying no attention. See what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and take a break, you all, but come back. Come on back. And the thing is, the food is going to be available throughout. So don't think you have to fill your plate up. Just go back and get some more and just keep eating until we're done, okay? All right, y'all. Thank you.
Scarecrow Beats. the song in my life. You are the reason I try to exist. For the kiss from your lips, girl.
All right, we are going back into segment number 2. Y'all, let's give a hand for Charles and Pastor Adam. All right, let's keep the conversation going.
Good stuff.
All right, Adam.
Did we want to start with Laverne's question? Because we did end with that.
I'm on Laverne. All right. Uh-oh. Really good. Fix your mic. Yo, okay. There you go. Yeah.
I don't think the mic is on though.
And what happened to me right here at this church.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm 67 years old. I thought I was going to have a wedding.
Wow.
I thought I was going to be married.
Okay.
So I had brought a guy to church with me, and he's going to church with me now. Maybe God done sent me this man. This is what my mind was telling me. God sent me this man into my life.
Mm-hmm.
So he kept on coming back to church with me, and then I say, you know, we're not married. I can't be your girlfriend. I'm 67 years old. I got my grandkids. They lay up with their men and stuff. And I can't be that type of woman to you.
Wow.
So we have to go and see if we're going to talk to Pastor.
Yeah.
He's available. So long story short, we go right into that room right there.
Okay.
Back then, it was the COVID time, so we had the mask on.
Yeah.
I had my mask off because I'm sitting in there like I'm finna be a bride. I thought I had the itch and everything else y'all thought I was talking about. So I say, okay. Pastor say, well, why are you in here? Now, he had never took his mask off. And Pastor wife was in that, and I said, Lorena, I did my finger like that. So Pastor said, well, why are you in here? He said, I want to marry her. Her. I said, Rena, he don't even know my name. He forgot to tell Pastor my name. He wanted to marry me. That was a heartbreak right there.
Okay.
So Pastor said, okay, then, Laverne, what do you think about this? I'm in the chair. I'm whining around. This ain't supposed to be happening to me. I'm 67 years old. I thought I'd never have another boyfriend. Somebody called me something besides my name, baby, honey, sugar. You know, led me down the aisle that I didn't think that I was going to be going down. I skipped, followed on down. So Pastor said, you know, we have to do some counseling if you want to get married. I said, okay. This guy left and been gone a year and a half, never stepped 1 foot back into this church.
Oh, wow.
So my grandmother told me when he was growing up, if he a man, he'll stand. If he a coward, he'll run.
Oh, wow.
So I tell Pastor quite often every time when I want to make a joke, thank you for not marrying me. Thank you for saving me. Because I really would have made a big mistake.
Right.
And to Val comment about keep yourself busy, I'm a scrapper.
Oh, wow.
So I stay busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
They be hollering and winking and everything, but I'm busy.
Yeah.
Too busy to stop.
I know that's
You don't
right.
know what just happened to me.
That's it.
I don't want to be fooled. The question is, will I ever get out of this state where Val say, I'm busy? I am busy. That's very true. That was the truth.
You don't
that
want to
you
stay
spoke
busy.
today. Because being single, you got to stay busy because you'll make so many mistakes like you did when I was younger, when I was bringing my kids up over and over and over and over. And I'm just saying to myself, I got a truck. I'm busy. The truck take me shopping. I get to go shopping like any married woman. I get to buy things, get to go out to eat. I'm getting my money, the second finance is coming in. But it's not good enough. Want to keep on being busy until some God send me someone. Am I going to make a mistake down the road again and think because somebody called me something besides my name that I might have a second chance in the world? Because you don't want to die this way. You don't want to die old. Old people always say, I don't want to die old by myself.
Yeah. Thank you, Laverne. That's awesome. So the question that we're hearing here is that because of attention from a man in the way that you felt that was different than what you had been accustomed to, will that make you more vulnerable or more eager to jump into something thinking it's more serious the next time?
I think the most attractive quality any Christian woman can have is a consistent standard. Like when anyone, because the one thing a man is going to look at, if you come to him as not only as a single woman, but a Christian woman, how much can I believe you? And that's going to be shown in your standard, because that means, okay, I'm so fine that if I tell you I rub your leg, you're going to be like, oh, are you going to fall apart? Are you going to tell me I want to have Bible study and I turn to something else? So he's looking to see how serious you are. I'm telling you, that's because that's really, to him, what that equates to. When he sees standards with you, he knows if I marry you, she's going to carry the standards in the marriage. But if she don't have them outside of the marriage, I'm not going to be foolish enough to believe if I marry her, all of a sudden she's going to become loyal. She ain't loyal to him. She's not going to be loyal to me. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reality though, right? So if I'm dating you, if we're in the dating process, getting to know each other, and your habits and conduct are of such that, like you said, you're not loyal, you're not reliable, you're not communicative in terms of talking and sharing. If you're doing it in the dating process, it's more likely that you're going to do the same thing when you get married. But here's the thing about being married. I got to live with you every single day. And you not talking to me, and you being disloyal every single day. I got to wake up to non-communication. I go to bed with disloyalty. I mean, come on. And here's the thing, though. So sometimes because of the fact that we see what we see and we want what we want, we're willing to override all of the red flags just because we want what we want. Right. And often, Terrell, when we get what we want, and I've said this time and again, I'll continue to say this, when we get what we want, right, it's not actually what we need. It's the and we show up at a deficit because we got what we wanted. But the reality is it wasn't what you needed. You know what I'm saying? That's like me eating a whole bunch of potato chips. Yeah. I want these potato chips. And in all honesty, I love potato chips. I really do love potato chips, right? But I realized that the potato chip is not as nutritious as some broccoli is. Yeah. But I don't want the broccoli. I need the broccoli, but I want the potato chip. Yeah. So I end up eating a whole bunch of potato chips, and Pastor John, I end up getting hypertension. Why? Because I ate a whole bunch of potato chips. And it wasn't as nutritious as it should have been. It's not as nutritious as the broccoli is. So I end up getting what I want. Yeah, you can get what you want. That's good. But is it what you need?
Right. That's good.
But see, this is what I've always thought on the other side of not being married.
Okay.
And hearing men and women that are married, and you hear things that they talk about, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So one of the things the chip and broccoli thing comes up. Mm-hmm. And I always look at it as, why can't we learn to make broccoli attractive? Put your hot cheese on it.
Nice cheese on it. Put some rice up in there.
But see, we get caught up in just the ready-made flavored chip right there.
Right.
But we don't realize that the thing that's already good for us, you can still make it good.
But you know what? That's right. Yeah. Because you have to actually work at it in order to make it good. Yeah. I mean, naturally, it is nutritious, but it don't taste that great. Not until you put some butter on it and a little bit of salt and maybe some cheese, some Parmesan, some some pepper jack cheese or whatever like that to make it taste good. But then that means I have to make an investment of time and energy and resources in order to make that thing good.
But that's where the engagement is found.
Absolutely.
In the work.
Yeah.
See, because it's like if you just meet someone, they're ready made, they look all these things, whatever. They feel like they don't need no work from you. You just kind of you come together, lay on the pillow, but you live your separate lives, because there's no work in the middle.
Right.
It should be like a continuing work.
It absolutely is a continuing 100%. Thing. Ask that lady right over there. Every single day. But see, that's the thing, though, right? So I'm. It is work.
Yeah.
And now, as you go along, the work is not as laborious because you put your time in at the beginning. You laid your foundation. Yeah. Now you're building on that foundation. So the work pays off. But that doesn't mean that you don't get up and work and go to bed and work. It is continuous working every single day.
So this is to the married. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Talk about your obsession.
Yes.
And that comes from like you develop that what you're fed.
True.
Right. And so we've help me. we got this appetite for what we've been fed, and so essentially when something comes on that's good or tastes different, we don't really recognize or know that it's better for us because we are so accustomed to getting what we like and what feels good and what tastes good. But there is no substitution for work ethic.
True.
There's no substitution whatsoever for developing a relationship through constant connection and communication. Yeah. There is none.
I mean, that's why you actually have to be very intentional and deliberate with what you're doing, so that your work. Okay. Anybody who wants to be a good pianist, you have to practice every day. Sean can attest to this fact. You want to be good at what you're doing, you have to practice that thing every single day until you perfect it. The same holds true for any relationship that you enter into. You want that relationship to be good? How much time are you spending in that relationship? What resources are you pouring into that relationship? What investments are you making in that relationship? Because it's only going to be as good as you make it. If you're not doing anything to make it good, it ain't going to be good. Come on. Nobody wants to be involved with something that's drudgery, or you want to be involved with something that's, you're only involved in it out of obligation. I vow to never leave you nor forsake you. Okay, now I gotta be here. Oh my God. What? No. There ought to be some joy somewhere in it, but you only get the joy when you put the work in. You want the joy. You want the joy from the beginning, but the reality is you don't get the joy until you actually put that work into your relationship and making it good. That's why marriage is not for the faint of heart. If you're a little punk, you ain't gonna survive. Yeah. You gotta put some work up in this thing and make it good.
Now, what does the work to look it good? Okay, put it like this. Imagine a line of women in the kitchen with grandma. She's cooking. We all know she can cook well, keeping the marriage together. So we sit and we say, what seasonings are you using? How much of a pinch of what works? Okay. This is where we lose it. We hear this all the time. Okay. Work it. How?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. We always, it's the high level, like we say at work. I'm going to give you a high level overview. That just means a sprinkle from up here, but no details.
Right.
We need details to walk it through.
Okay.
Because again, like everybody has something. Like so Tyrell, he can come and say, well, this is what I do that works. I may have some struggles here, but with us, we're great. Right. You may say something. Pastor John, who all around, but the point is, collectively, we don't push that. We just tell people that if you pray and put it before the Lord, it's going to work. How does that look?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we need the application.
That's a good point. Application is good, but sometimes we do have the details, but we don't have the appetite to do what is necessary. So we got the instructions, and grandmama said, hey, you need to let that thing sit for a while, that dough sit for a while. But yet we're so busy, we're so quick, in what we want to do, and like you said, ready to eat, we want it right now, that we don't take the time to actually pay attention to detail and execute. Wow. And those things are what men are, and women too, are attracted sometimes to that attention to detail because it speaks more about your character.
Correct. So here's the thing, and I was just actually thinking about this when it comes to the whole seasoning analogy that you use. So I know how to cook a little bit. Just a little something. You know what I'm saying? Just a little something. What I understand is when it comes to seasoning food, your seasoning of that food is based on what you're actually cooking. For example, if I'm cooking oatmeal, I'm not gonna put seasonal in my oatmeal.
Right.
That's nasty. That don't taste good.
Yeah.
The seasoning does not complement the actual food.
Yeah.
So whatever you're seasoning needs to actually complement what you're actually cooking. For example, I'm going to use a steak. Then I get my Lowry steak seasoned salt.
Welcome
and
to
use
the
it
food
on
channel
that.
with Pastor C. Adam Cole and Charles Dixon.
But see, that actually complements the food. Often we're not using the right seasoning because we figured that a one size fit all type of mentality. But I'm not your one size fit all person. I'm a unique, idiosyncratic person. I am who I am.
Yeah.
I know that was a $15 one. I know. That was a nowhere Jones for you. But the thing of it is, you have to understand the person that you're with. Because the stuff that you use for your previous relationship may not necessarily work for the relationship that you're in right now. So understanding what that relationship is in terms of how to deal with that person is unique to that person.
Hold up, that's a good part. 1 second. This is a good note. This because you said something that snapped something.
Okay.
One thing that women unconsciously, so we're not going to charge you with it, but women unconsciously
sounds like
this.
a charge to me.
No, I'm just saying this unconsciously happens. But I don't think women understand the ramifications psychologically to the man. And one of the things that women do all the time, let's just say either you are engaged, even in marriage or relationship, women will say, oh, don't worry about it. Y'all men like it like that. Y'all men like us to do this. It's like you giving us your history in a statement.
Okay.
And men, this is how men are. A woman could have been divorced. We could have known you was the harlot down the block. When it comes to us in the moment, it's a reset. We only see you in the moment. And we're not thinking about what was over there, who was over there. But when women are like, it could be even in intimate moments. Women will say things like, they'll say, well, you know, y'all men like that. Well, why do you say that? I don't want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep it out. I know you're grown. I know you probably did whatever, but keep it singular. Because it's like when you tell a man that y'all men do this, you're telling us you got a catalog. That's what you're saying. And I have this much experience with y'all. So this is why I know it so much. And it's not that we don't know that you do, but it's just a thing with men. It's a thing we'd be like, why'd you say
that coin though, Charles?
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Right. And it sounds like you're doing it now just with your example.
What do you mean?
Generalizing. Generalizing.
No, I'm just being honest. I'm just saying it does happen a lot. I'm not saying it's like that's why I said subconsciously women will say, because they got, like you said, whether they were married or in relationships, they'll be like, well, you know, I know that most of y'all men like it that way. And it's just like what he said, but we're specific. And I think that's where we go wrong. You have to learn, just like a man has to learn to earn, like you talk about dwell according to knowledge. A woman that's an ideal complement to her man is that way because she's specific in how she loves him, not generalize him how it worked with Nathan and John with you specifically. And I think that's
so. Some of those comments come from grandmama told that to granddaughter, right?
Ooh.
So so that's what I'm saying. It's two sides to that coin.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Sometimes it's not just the woman has that that mindset, but they have received that in sort of like a transformation, like as they grow up. But let me tell you, men do this, men do that. Watch for these tendencies.
Right, yeah.
So that's why it says two sides to that coin.
Okay.
So, question for you: are there any universal principles that can work for single, married, anybody, just in general?
Integrity. I think that's a general thing.
Okay.
That if you walk in integrity, you're not. It's not saying you're perfect, but it means I'm walking in a way that I'm willing to reconsider my actions before committing them. Okay. If you can do that, you can have a balance with that.
And what's your response?
To the what? The universal
characteristic.
characteristic.
Let's do what he said.
Right. Just do what he
Right.
said.
What he said. What he said.
Maria, do what he said. No problem. That's
Charles covered it all.
Okay.
the only thing I want you to do.
I think a universal. I think a universal principle is communication.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think without communication
You fall
in a
around. That's
relationship,
it.
you don't have a relationship.
That's it.
Number one, I don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking. I told somebody a while ago that I wasn't gonna read no minds. I don't read minds. I'm not gonna do it. I don't do it because I'm not. Listen. She's right over there, and I'm sure I will hear it after the fact. I don't even want to read her mind right now. But the thing of it is, though, right? So we want somebody to know what we're feeling, but there's this refusal, this reluctance, this resistance to actually say what we're feeling. We don't want to communicate it, but we want you to know it. Well, how is that going to happen unless you open up your mouth and say what's going on your mind? And so communication is the basis for all relationships.
Yeah.
If I'm not talking to you and if you're not talking to me, if there isn't a dialogue that's taking place between the two of us, how are we functioning together?
Yeah.
How are we even moving in the same space, at the same pace, at the same cadence? It's not happening. Why? Because we're not talking to one another.
Yeah.
It's one of the number one reasons why relationships break down, because you stop talking to each other. You stop communicating with each other. You expect the person, well, I done been with you for 20, 25, 30 years now. You ought to know this. No! Say what's on your mind. Here's the thing that we often miss. We often miss the fact that the person that we might have married or dated some 15, 20, 25 years ago is not the same person today. Why? Because that person changes.
No.
They grow, they mature. So what we do is we become lackadaisical in our relationship. We push the autopilot button and we no longer engage them.
Yeah.
Which means we're no longer talking
Take
to
them for
them.
granted.
Which means we're no longer being updated as to who they are today. We're operating on old, obsolete information that is no longer relevant to today's person that we're dealing with.
Wow,
We
that's
want
good.
to give the readers a sample of what's in the book.
Okay.
So, Pastor Allen, this question first is for you. In chapter 7, you talked about love on my terms. Figuring out love on your term due to missing pieces, how to handle it. Can you explain what you were talking about in this chapter?
Oh, Lord, I did have to bring that book up in here. Like,
What you wanted to get him.
Jesus. Oh, okay. So the basic premise of that particular chapter has to do with the fact that love on my terms, I had to figure out how to love with pieces that were missing. And those pieces that were missing were from the lack of a relationship that I had with my father. Because he wasn't there to kind of train me and teach me how I should deal with the opposite sex. I ended up having to figure stuff out on my own. I had to figure out, how to talk to him. And the thing of it is, I'm not I know y'all gonna be like, no, he lying. He is so lying right now. I'm not a talkative person. I'm not a conversationalist. Exactly. I'm not a conversationalist. I am very, and y'all heard me say this before. I am very much a person that is, I'm not a recluse, but I am introverted. I'm not a recluse. I'm an introvert personality, whereas I don't do all the excitement and the talking. And if you walked up to me and tried to make small talk, it would be a very, very short conversation. You know what I'm saying? And so when it came to trying to date, I didn't date until I was like, in my teens, late teens at that, because I never had the skills to be able to really engage with the opposite sex. And again, that came from the fact that I did not have a relationship with my father, who I believe should teach me how to relate to the opposite sex. If you don't have that piece is missing. And it makes it difficult. It doesn't make it impossible, but it makes it difficult to be able to talk to and relate to the opposite sex. And so that's what I meant by that. Those pieces were missing. Now, how do you overcome that? You got to figure it out, right? You got to at least have, hopefully you have some male examples in your life, some godly examples, some examples that have character, integrity, that ain't gonna lead you in the wrong way. Because you can go to the barber shop and you can talk to the barber and he can tell you what he's gonna tell you.
Yeah,
he can tell you what he's gonna tell you. And a lot of them dudes in there, they're gonna tell you what they're gonna tell you. But here's the thing though, a lot of those dudes didn't have fathers either.
yeah.
And so we all kind of made it up as we went along to figure out how to do what we do.
You know, really. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I got a question for you too.
Go ahead. All right.
When Charles says in the book, you say a man's first model of love is his mother, and what does that mean for how she shows up as a partner?
So a man's mother is the first woman that has an unobstructed access to him. So as we grow up in life and experience life, we get hurt, we get divorces, whatever, that layer goes higher and higher in terms of access. So your mother has the best footprint and imprint into a man's life.
Mhm.
Now, put it this way, we will love mothers even if they're dysfunctional. Even if we start somebody on drugs
Sure.
or she was running up and down the street with this one and that,
Right,
it's still our mother, right? We still
right.
love her. So we learn to adapt where she is.
Yeah.
But when we move from that place and we move on in life, we find ourselves, we kind of deflect onto our new partners
Okay.
where we lacked
Yeah.
coming up in our formative years watching our mother, depending on that relationship.
Yeah, because that mother is the template for all other female relationships, right? So if that mother is dysfunctional,
Yeah.
is not present, then it kind of warps how we deal with the opposite sex, right? Because now my relationship is based on a toxic, dysfunctional relationship.
Yeah.
And often that's the thing that I'm attracted to. That's the thing that draws me in.
Yeah.
Because everything else that might be normal, I'm not attracted to that.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to the dysfunction because that's what I'm relating to because that's how I was brought up
Yeah.
in my life.
So this is really right on my street. The reason why I say that is because my mother, when I grew up watching my mother, to me, she was the ideal model, right? To me, when I saw her commit to something, like she took care of the kids, the family, I never saw her not come home at night. I never heard a conversation with my dad to say, "You being thirsty, why you in that man's face?" I never heard none of that. She took care of us. She went to work. She came home. She made sure we went to church. And when she was at church, in what she was involved in, you could tell everybody respected her in her respective ministries because she was consistent. So to me, I saw this consistent woman in salvation. So me growing up after that, what I would say was probably a struggle for me is even though I may have entertained this one or that one going forward, there was a difference between me entertaining and me actually considering. And if I was actually considering, the reason why the entertaining was more than actually considering, because when actually considering, I measured them to my mother. And I was thinking, she say she go to church, but she ain't saved like mom. She don't even fast. I'm just telling you, in my mind, I saw my mother do all of these things and still walk strong. So for me, it left me with the tattoo of like, I love my mother, but she don't have to be her, right?
Okay.
I love my mom and that's her, but I have to learn to separate that view because to me, it was a template that worked for a man.
Okay.
But in life, it's okay to take someone else and she's entirely different. You don't have to be like your mom.
Right.
And so for me, that was a struggle for me for many years, that part.
So real quick, because
Yeah. Okay.
that, not necessarily counter,
Sure.
but I want to give a little bit more insight,
Sure.
and then we can move on. Is that what about the other position of a person not having a model mother? Because essentially, it sounds like to me there's an opportunity that you were sheltered, and one thing from our generation is that they did a great job of compartmentalizing.
For sure.
So they may have been totally different people in their relationships, but to us, so it's important how we show up for our kids. Right?
Okay.
Right.
But,
On the other side with no mom.
side of that, how does a man
Yeah.
get reset in order to learn?
So, well, first, the reality of what happens on the other side of a man not having a present mother, two things happen. He either grows up, he's resenting women. Like when he's with them, he's treating them all kinds of ways because he's really angry with the female culture.
Right.
On the other side of it, he's the guy that's saying, "Oh, that's not gonna be my life. I'm gonna find me a wife," and he tries to overdo what she didn't do, and he's going out trying to find this woman and make sure I can be the model husband and the best that I can be because I didn't have it. So that's typically, rarely do we fall in the middle. It's usually one of the two. He's dysfunctional and resentful, or he's trying to overdo his experience. You know what I mean? But what was the last part you said? I forgot that last part.
That was the thing.
Okay.
It's just the path. Like in the book, it gives us kind of an insight as to how to move back to center.
Yeah, and so you gotta. Oh, I see. Okay, that's the point. So when you get back to center, it's like I said earlier, you have to reach out and ask for help to address your lack. If you know you as a man is lacking in this part and you did not have the mother experience, like you said, at churches, sometimes there's the mother figure that's there that you can dote and ask questions, and you can there's ways you can get what you need if you're wise enough how to go about it, to get that reassurance and to get that understanding from the maternal point of view that can help you out even as an older man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And so as I look at the time, I'm so sorry. We have to get ready to close our podcast.
Oh, man.
I
What time is it?
I
1 o'clock already?
That was fast. It fast like Ramon. It was just 12.
So, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So,
I know, I was just saying.
excuse me, but do you all have any closing statements that you want to give to close out this podcast?
Yes, I will say something. To all the strong women of the world.
What is going on?
The best gift I can give any strong woman that has the act to do whatever she needs, right? Sometimes when interacting with men and communicating, whether in marriage, in relationship, sometimes men are looking for the woman who listens to retain, not listens to respond. Because when you first respond, the first thing we see is green camouflage. Oh, come back. He's combative. And that's a flag. Something's being honest, it's a flag to us. So I'm not saying that you can't be who you are to the core, but you have to be wise how you sift it out. That's all I'm saying. And so every woman can be strong, but you don't. But if you, I'm going to be honest. Most men are not looking for a fight. We're looking for love. So if we're going to commit to you, we want love. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. That's all.
Lord have mercy, boy.
Hey,
Is your car started? After you. So real quick. Lord have mercy. Just to kind of piggyback on what he said, I think it's important that when a man shares himself, he obviously trusts you, right? And I think it's important for both people in a relationship that we create a safe space for that to happen. I think often men don't share because they feel as though what they share can be weaponized and used against them to exploit them, right? And so it's important that in our relationship, there is a space and a place where I can say what I need to say without fear of reprisal or retribution. That I can be honestly who I am in front of you. To use a biblical, we're about to have Bible study real quick. To use a biblical example, it's interesting how Jesus, when he appears to his disciples, he shows his disciples his wounds, obviously indicating a degree of transparency and vulnerability that we all should have within our relationships, that I feel safe enough with my spouse to be able to show her my wounds, that I feel safe enough with my spouse to give her my heart, that you are willing to trust them, and that I trust you with me.
We have sampled the personalities.
I'm sorry.
You got one piece?
One quick thing I want to do.
Okay.
I want to make a shout out to Maria. I'm going to tell you why. No, I'm not being funny. I'm going to say this real talk because I realized some things through working with you, right? Being your friend and week to week. Yeah. Sometimes I'm able to see myself in the mirror with you. And the point I am saying is, I think, and look, this is to the Pastor Johns, the rails of the world. This is the point I'm going to make. I think every man, not only that's married or just you a man in a relationship that operate at a high level, right? Okay. When I say operate at a high level, some of us men that think we smart, we think about it. So the smart and the part of us being complicated is one part. That's not even your issues. Right. So they got to deal with the smart part, the strong, the wise, and the issues. Right. I think we should make it a practice always celebrate the woman
Absolutely.
that is with you, because it's
Yeah.
not easy loving an Adam or Charles. Or
Wait a
Pastor. It
minute.
really is.
Wait, let me
It's
say it. Let me say it.
Yeah, no, it really ain't easy. I'm just playing, but it's not
Right.
easy.
No, you're right.
It's not
you're right,
easy
you're right,
loving
you're right,
someone
right.
who operates at a high level. And so I think we under celebrate the women that deal with that.
Wow.
Because for day to day, it's like, because you and me may be like, I'm me, take it. But they're saying, no, it's really a lot to take.
Right.
So we got to think about it like that. That's all.
So we
Wow.
have sampled the personalities. Do we like what we're hearing so far? Yeah.
Wow.
So tell us, gentlemen, where can we get this awesome book so that we could get into this content and start to apply it to our lives?
Amazon.com.
What's the title and everything?
The title of the book is
What we going to Amazon.com?
the title of the book is Love Lewis. Love Lewis Eyes. You can purchase the book on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
It is available today. So
we'll
please,
have some different versions coming soon, because I received feedback that some people want softbacks. So we're
going to do a paperback version.
Or ebooks is different thing.
Right.
But
Yeah,
we
we're gonna
started
do
off with the hardback.
Yeah.
And but you go, like I said, you go to Amazon and you put in Love Through His Eyes,
and you'll find it right
there.
there.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, before we leave out today, we're doing a book
back
signing, and you can purchase copies in the back and everything like that. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hope y'all appreciated the show today. All right.
All right, so again, make sure you all stop at the table. We have a table right over here for you all that you can purchase. For those who actually came today, you all can get this book for a discounted price today.
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that awesome? Yes. So we want to support them, okay? We really want to support them. So please, we want you to come out and get a book. They got a video that we're going to show really quick, and then we're going to close. Do we have the video? Yeah, we got a video. Yes. All right, we got a video. Check it out, y'all.
You give me